Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Ox Trades here. Just back making another YouTube video. Like I said, I'm trying to get more consistent with it, and I really am. It is hard to make content with working and trying to balance trading and all and everything like that. But this video, I think, is just a really important one that I feel like I have to make for myself, for people that are going through that boomer bust cycle in their trading. They're past the point where they've seen what can happen when you're consistently profitable, but they're also not at the point where they are consistently profitable. That's kind of where I find myself. I find myself going on long win streaks, and then when I try and replicate that same success of those win streaks, I end up seeing a little bit of trouble. And for example, I do have these 50K select accounts passed on Tradeify, and last month I did have a $23,000 month, strictly from Tradeify, the only accounts that I took profit from. So between evals and evals on like Lucid, which I didn't get a payout from, I probably profited just shy of $20,000 between the middle of December and middle of January. But since the 14th, I've not been able to take a payout, and I've also you know rinsed a pretty solid amount of evals. Just going through here all the evals that I've rinsed through. It's one of those things where I had such a great month that I was trying to replicate that success, and it came back and it haunted me. Um, I went from December being the best month of my trading career to January, where, if you see here, I got that in payouts, and that's what I spent in evals, and that is my total profit for the month, or I should say total negative for the month. But um, things like this are going to happen. If last month was 20K and this month was red, and next month was 20K, and the next month red, that's still clearing six figures a year in profit, which was the goal that I set out for myself at the start of this year. And I do have these accounts passed. These are the daily payout accounts. So I will be trying my best to get some payouts out of those. And if I just get one payout in January, I'll end up ending the month a couple $1,000s green. So that's what really matters. That's why props are so great. The ROI on them is great. Um, but I did just want to go over that when you're in trading, you're going to have extreme swings of momentum in both directions, and you have to recognize when you're in between those swings. When you're having good trade, like good days, you're in a flow state with the market. That is when you need to be aggressive. When you have the best read on the market possible, that is when you need to be aggressive, and that's exactly what I was doing when I was able to take out all these payouts. When I was able to take out all these payouts. But in the start of January, I was not. I was feeling pretty disconnected from the market. I will say I don't know if I've had a single red day in New York session in all of January, um, like on a funded account. And for some reason, I was still trying to force trades in Asian session, and I was getting absolutely smoked during Asia. So earlier in the month, I should have recognized that I was forcing trades because I wasn't at work and I was bored, and it was really making my trading suffer, and it was preventing me from taking payouts. So recently, just over the last week or two, the person that I'm trying to teach trading, the person that is helping me on my journey as well, keeping me accountable on all my stuff, I said, look, I'm going to come up with scenarios before Asian session opens, and I'm going to only trade if those scenarios come to pass. So for example, the other night, I think it was, I forget what night it was, either Wednesday night. I forget what night it was. I really do. But I came up with a specific plan before Asian session opened and said, look, if this, I'm pretty sure it was like somewhere around like 600, where I said if I was it was here. It was here. It was Wednesday night. We had this previous candles high here, and I said if price comes up, takes out previous hour's high, rejects off 600, and moves down lower, that is the only scenario that I'm willing to trade. And then what happened? We ended up going up, took out previous candle high, rejected 600, and moved all the way down. And I was able to catch a nice trade on my evals on those. And because of that, I was able to pass these evals. So I think just that patience is what differentiates those profitable consistently to those in the not the unprofitable, but in the boomer bust stage where they're having extremely solid weeks, extremely solid days, but they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. They're having extremely bad days. What's crazy is this number. I would say 80% of that was in 2 days. I could say it was. I think it was on Tuesday of this past week and on January 7th, where I was just extremely disconnected from the market and I was extremely emotional. And I would buy 5 accounts, full port them to try and get max consistency on both Lucid and Tradeify. I would lose them. I'd buy 5 more accounts and I'd trade into max consistency, lose them, and repeat the cycle. And I probably, like I said, 85 to 90% of this was on 2 days where I just absolutely tilted out. And, that's unacceptable. That is what's going to prevent people from being profitable. But yeah, that was just kind of my whole point of this video. It was just to kind of discuss um, that boomer bust cycle and what you need to do in order to get out of it. And, the main takeaway should be is to just, if you are disconnected with the market, you need to not be risk on. You need to not be trying to replicate that same success as you had when you were in that flow state, when you were super connected with the market. Because that is what I did, and that is what personally hurt me. This month could have easily been another 5-figure month for me if I was just patient and didn't force trades during Asian session when there was nothing really to trade, but I was just trading out of boredom. And that's like I said, that's what I wanted to go over in this video. I hope that this helps people that are in that boomer bust cycle. I hope I'm on the backside. I'm no longer new. I'm no longer unprofitable, but I am kind of sitting in that boomer bust cycle where I'm having extremely hot streaks, and then my cold streaks, affect the way my P&L and profits look. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this helps people out that are in that boomer bust cycle. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.